Alright guys, well, it's been a couple days since you guys have watched the Canon R5, R6 announcement that came out on Thursday, I believe it was. And I spent the day watching that. Plus, I actually joined in and watched this creator studio thing that they had later on that evening where people could post some questions. And there was definitely some good information. But of course, I think until people actually get their hands on it, then everything we know right now is really just, I think, based on a lot of, I don't want to say speculation, but based on a pre-production model. Now, the R5 seems to be the one that's, again, catching all the attention. This time, though, a little bit on the negative side. And as we saw with some reviewers that actually got a chance to get their hands on it, and this was outside of the actual Canon event, because once the Canon event was over, it looked like a lot of companies and YouTubers that were able to at least get their hands on the camera for a short period of time were able to post videos. So a couple videos came out right away and I watched as many as I could, even though the R5 wasn't the camera that necessarily interested me because of its budget. And of course, the big thing that was showcased in kind of a negative light was that 8K overheating or 8K time limit. Now, there are a few screenshots out there, and we don't know right now if they're official from Canon, but it talks about the overheating, and most of them are saying, I think I have it here, for recording. 8K movie recording in RAW, DCI, UHD has restrictions on possible recording time due to temperature rise. Max possible recording time is approximately 20 minutes at room temperature. Now, of course, this may possibly go up a little bit if you were recording really cold, and of course go down a little bit if you were recording somewhere really warm. Now, not going to be a great outdoor in the middle of summer type camera, because if it's 30 degrees, that's going to be really hot, and then it's just going to crank everything out. It also talks here about 4K 60p, has restrictions on possible recording time due to temperature rise as well. But again, this little document that we're seeing here, I don't even know if this is actually from Canon or if somebody just wrote it just to have an uprise on the internet. I don't know. But we are seeing some heating issues. And is that a great thing? Well, no. But I want to talk more about the 8K, because first thing here too is that if I go to this other document that we saw, it talks about recovery time of the overheating. And it says, if the shooting is stopped due to the restriction, the camera must be turned off before the movie can be shot again. It is necessary to wait for the temperature inside the camera to drop. The recovery shooting time differs depending on the length of the waiting time. So 8K 30p, recording standby time, you'll see it here, 10 minutes, recording time maximum, 3 minutes. So if you let it kind of cool down for 10 minutes, you'll get about 3 minutes of shooting is what I guess it's saying. And if you let it sit for 20 minutes after it reaches that full heating capacity, so you shot 20 minutes before, that 20 minutes cool time will give you 8 minutes, and 10 minutes will give you 10 minutes. And that's for the 4K. So I've even been getting some comments being like, how can Canon release a camera like this with 8K, but have all these heating and recording limits, and it's supposed to be designed especially for professional use? Well, I agree to a point that it would have been nice to have no time limits at all. Would have been fantastic to be able to say, I want 8K and I want it to be able to shoot for 4 hours. But those that probably require that, even though they are making money and are definitely considered professional, you're not going to shoot necessarily, at least in my opinion, you're not going to shoot an entire wedding ceremony with like 3 cameras shooting 8K. That's just unheard of at this point in time. Because for one, I was watching a video and they were saying, I believe they said it was about a terabyte for about 50 minutes of video coming in at 8K RAW. So imagine if you had 3 of those cameras, not including how costly it would be to actually shoot with 3 of these cameras, with 3 of those CF cards, and then have who knows what kind of system at home that could actually process 3 levels of 8K footage. I don't even know what's going to handle that. Like, that's crazy. I think the 8K, even though it has this 20-minute kind of maximum, is really going to be a feature that you go to for those specialty shots. It's going to be used when you and I can't necessarily get that reach that we need. So we're going to shoot as tight as we can, but knowing that you have that flexibility of 8K to be able to get in even tighter if you so choose. To be able to shoot a little wider and know that you have the ability to probably get maybe 2 or 3 different cropped sizes inside. So even out of the one camera, you can get some great B-roll shots and look like it was shot with multicam. And if you're shooting a wedding, for instance, this would be like the highlight reel. This would be like the bride and or groom getting ready. It's that kind of stuff, I think, that the 8K may play a lot, because you only need a single cam for that, and literally you're recording it and you're stopping it. You're not recording for 30, 40 minutes. I've said this in previous videos. I've shot a lot of small corporate videos, and honestly, the length of video from start to stop per take is usually only a minute or 2. Some may get as high as 4 or 5 minutes because they're stumbling a little bit more, and we just let them kind of ramble through it until we hopefully get something good. But even 4 or 5 minutes, you're gonna stop, let the camera cool down, go do some stuff, rearrange your lighting, rearrange whatever, and you should be good to go. Yeah, I think the 8K is kind of a specialty thing. Again, one of the things right now is none of the cameras that are out there are production. They're all pre-production models, which can mean that there can be some firmware updates to it. I don't think any hardware is going to get modified, but definitely firmware. So we could see a different firmware in the actual production model of it come out. So that'll be interesting. What did you guys think? Curious really, what did you guys think of the R5? For those that watched it, I do appreciate, for those that actually joined me for the little live on Thursday morning, you guys were chatting back and forth, answering questions, getting questions back and forth on the R5 and the R6. That was kind of fun. But any of you actually have questions on it? Any of you went out and pre-ordered? Did you pre-order the R5? I went and pre-ordered the R6. Now here in Canada, it took me a little bit of time to find a company that actually had it set up for pre-order. So I couldn't even get it on Canon Camera. I tried Henry's, they didn't have it listed. Went to Vistec, vistec.ca, had it. Boom, put it down. $4,000 Canadian for the R6 body alone. Yeah, so those of you in the US, you're like $4,000 for the R5 body. Here it was $4,000 with all the taxes for the R6. But it'll come at some point. I even got it overnight shipped, is the hope. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. I was just really put up this video. I just came back from a little weekend getaway. I'm kind of exhausted. It actually was a, you know, one of those kind of weekends that I wasn't even feeling good at all. Wasn't feeling great. The hope was that the weekend was gonna help me feel better, kind of relax. And I don't know, it all went sideways. But I'm back here with you guys, talking about more tech, more camera stuff. And that's it. That's all. I do have a video coming up, I hope, for tomorrow on a camera that I actually took out with me on the weekend. Little camera, little FPV camera. It's kind of cool. All right, guys. Comments down below. Let me know what you bought, if you bought anything, or what you think of the specs on the R5 and R6. And we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. All right, guys. Later.